Up next on Math 7, 10-5, we're going to look at congruent, what a vocab word is for congruent. Congruent is a math-specific geometry word, and congruent means same or equal measurement. Rather than measurement, you could also see equal length. Depending on, I guess, if you're talking about a line, the length of a line versus, or the length of a side versus, because lines go on forever, versus the measurement of an angle. So like length of something versus measurement of an angle. Just equal. And the symbol for congruent, you will see a lot and you'll be expected to know. And it's very easy to know that it means the same because the symbol for congruent is an equal sign with a squiggly line on top of it. So might be something that shows up a lot. All right, and the reason we need to talk about what congruent means is because our third angle relationship here, talking about vertical angles, and vertical angles are special because they are congruent to each other. So vertical angles are congruent. And remember, congruent means equal. The only trick is that you have to be able to identify vertical angles in a diagram. And vertical angles in a diagram are basically just opposite of each other. Opposite or across from each other. And these vertical angles are made with intersecting lines. Made with intersecting lines. Remembering intersecting just meaning crossing, as you can see in our diagram over here. And I guess, did we do an example 4? No, technically this is example 4. Okay, so looking here at our diagram, an example of vertical angles being opposite or across from each other. So I'm just upset about my diagram not having, first off, any arrows at the end of it. Second off, no letters to help us kind of distinguish what's what. But anywho, so looking at this angle right here, this yellow angle, that's got a measurement of 35 degrees, as we can see in the diagram. Which other angle in this diagram is directly across or opposite from that 35? Hopefully you're recognizing that it's that W that is directly across from it. Those are vertical angles. I think we should give those letter names. I really do. We're going to call this A, B, C, D, and E. Okay, there we go. So now we can say that angle ABC is congruent to angle DBE because they are vertical angles. Right? There's those vertical angles, and we know it's a rule, it's a fact of life, like the fact that 2 + 2 = 4. Vertical angles are congruent to each other. So if this angle ABC is 35, that means that the measure of angle W would have to be 35 degrees. So W equals 35 degrees. These are the same. That also goes true or holds true for the other two angles that are opposite of each other. Each set of intersecting lines is going to end you up with 2 sets of vertical angles. So the next set of vertical angles that we can talk about or look at here would be angle ABD and CBE. Looking at, from the other way, if you were to like rotate your paper, you're looking at those wide, obtuse green angles that I have highlighted. So we know that those would be equal as well. So we're just going to jot that down, that angle ABD or DBA is congruent to angle CB, and I'm just tracing this here, CBE, because vertical angles. So that means we know that those are equal to each other. But we don't know what x is. And this is where stuff gets a little tricky, and that's why I really like these problems. Are fun, because you kind of have to use multiple rules to figure things out. So here, while I don't know the measure of angle x, I do know the measure of angle w, right? I know what that w degrees is. I know that w, because it's equal to the one across from it, is also 35 degrees. Well, look at this. Look at what's happening if I look at angle ABC and angle CBE. What does angle ABC and CBE form? And I know my diagram's getting really messy here, but I just want to emphasize this. Notice that straight line or that straight angle that's going on there. So actually, angle AC, just kidding, vertex has to be in the middle. Angle ABC and angle CBE are supplementary. Meaning they equal 180. So if one of them is 35 plus what equals 180? Well, I don't know. I don't want to do it in my brain. So 145. Meaning that angle CBE is 145 degrees, making this x 145 degrees. Therefore, making this one also 145 degrees.